revolution is a very serious question. It's the most complex matter in the entire world. Now, what are the tactics? What are the ways to achieve the victory for the workers, for the people, for us? There have always been a problem with the leftist organizations, with the Trotskyite organizations particularly. They do not have the experience of mass politics. Now, the working inside the trade union is one thing, which is a separate subject in itself, which must be studied, learned, and we should adopt the ways how to actually work inside the trade union. That's a separate subject. And then how to work in the politics, that is another separate subject. The Trotskyite organizations always have this problem. They do not have the experience of the mass politics. They talk too much, they think too much, but they have not done anything successfully in the political field. Like, there might be some instances, there might be some exceptions, there are some exceptions, but as a whole, Trotskyite groups do not have the experience of the mass politics. And that is why it has happened many times, especially in the Europe, that whenever the social democratic parties, where the Trotskyite organizations do the entrism, when they come to the power, there is a split in the Trotskyite organization. It has happened many times in the Europe. Now, entrism is a tactic which must be discussed and debated seriously. When the party is in the opposition, there must be different tactics. When the party is in the government, there must be different tactics of working. Like, when, especially like in UK, in the Labour Party, it's very easy to criticize the leadership of the Labour Party. You can openly criticize the leadership of the People's Party, of the Labour Party. You can openly criticize their policies, as John McDonnell people have been doing. But if you do this sort of things, if you build, like John McDonnell's and leftists have the LRC in the Labour Party, it has been there for about 4 or 5 years now, I think. But you cannot find any such thing in any third world country, in any populist party. There's always been a strict control over the people, over the parties by the leadership. If you like, and then here comes the art. How you artistically raise the consciousness of the workers without offending too much the leadership. And that is an art that can only be learned by working in the politics, by working among the people. You cannot learn this art, doesn't matter how big intellectually you are, you cannot learn this art by sitting inside the houses. And that was one of the problems with Dalal Khan. He never had the ability to speak in front of the people. And I mentioned in my letter, like I joined the organization first in the Pakistan, then I went to work in the People's Student Federation, and I still have a very good base. I still have my friends in there, in the People's Student Federation, the People's Party, in the Pindi and the Punjab. And in 2007, about 25 students and the youth from the PSF came in one of our aggregate in Rawalpindi. And aggregates of the regional aggregates, the aggregates in Pakistan have never been strict for the members only, like everywhere, like in Britain, and we can bring the close contacts. And religion is a sensitive issue in Pakistan. It does not have any relevance in the British society or in the European society, religion, but it is a very sensitive issue in Pakistan. You don't need to like criticize it in the public if you want to do a politics in there. But Lal Khan said, like spoke about the religion insultingly, and they left the hall. And after leaving the hall, they said that from this day they issued an official statement that we do not want to have any kind of any relation with the struggle. They are atheists. So this is the difference. How you have to work in the in the mass politics. Where are you working? You are working in a third world country, you are working in a populist party, you are working in a party whose leadership is composed of the feudals and the capitalists. So things, everything must be discussed and must be analyzed deeply to come to a conclusion. So coming to the point of how to work when the PPP is in, like when PPP is in opposition, you can openly, because you can openly make any kind of statements and no one would make any, no one would bother too much about it. Um, although the Benazir Bhutto issued show cause notices to Manzoor 3 times. And even she created some problems giving him the ticket, the National Assembly ticket in 2007, because he has been opposing the anti-American policies. He had been opposing the American policies and against the, some things. He had been criticizing openly different things. So she was a bit concerned about that. But when the PPP is in government, you must try to criticize it in a way. Like if when we upload the Manzoor's speech, which he delivered at the BESOS, at the inauguration ceremony of the BESOS, in front of the Prime Minister and different ministers, he did not offend them, but he also called for a workers' revolution. He also openly, boldly stated that this is what the Bhutto wanted. He said that this is what the Bhutto wanted, a workers' revolution, and we will fight till a workers' revolution, but till a workers' rule is not being set up in this country. We will fight till that socialist transformation of the society does not take place in this country. So without, like, there are two things. There are two ways of working in the PPP. Like the Lal Khan group says that we work in the PPP, but how do they work in the PPP? They just go there, swear the Zardari, and come back, get kicked out from the meetings, and then they say, oh, PPP is a very reactionary party, we cannot work in the PPP. And then there is another way of working. But staying inside the PPP, try to get as much as you can for the workers, and also try to raise the consciousness of the workers for a socialist transformation of society, for a socialist revolution. That's what Manzoor is doing very successfully. Like, and that's what you must have felt, that most of the people in the conference came from the organized working class. And they said that, oh, only 7 people left with them, and only this and that. And you said that the majority of the people present there were in the whole organization.